Beep, 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 beep.
Wonder how many streams we've started with just us making random sounds.
Every single one.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to be pedantic about the whole thing, then yeah, sure, I guess every single one. Was a little mean-spirited of you, but you are
I
accurate.
wasn't even being pedantic. I was just accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
What we do.
We could just do a montage of the random sounds we've made, introing throughout the years.
We don't need to give people
probably could. We probably could. We shouldn't, but we probably could.
One of those moments your scientists spent so long wondering if they could.
There may or may not be a secret code in there when you do it. So whoever wants to do that for us and let us know if there's a secret code in there, that'd be great.
I like how quickly you created all this extra work and then shunted it off to someone else.
Yeah. That's my job in life, dude, is to delegate. I've become good at it.
I like the idea that somebody's going to find a secret message that's secret even from us. Like, that's amazing.
Oh, no, we know it's there.
Do we? Join the Navy?
You have to make me do it, don't you? It's
Join the Navy.
I don't think that's as subliminal as you think it is. It's
No, it's pronounced submersible.
Not anymore, it's not.
I can't. No. I can't have this conversation.
Just no.
I'll never stop.
Sure, you could submerse it once.
No. Anyone carrying anything fancy? Oh, and for those who are watching ahead of live stream, jump ahead roughly 13 minutes now, because we've already bullshitted for 2 minutes. You'll actually get the Benchmade Narrows review. That's it. Spoilers. Yeah, everyone else, hang on tight.
We'll reveal to you what the review is in a minute.
Well played, Joe. Well played.
I don't feel bad about that, not at all.
Once again, one of these.
Look, if you didn't read the title, it's your own damn fault if you decide to stick around this long. I need to get my photos ready. We should.
That helps. That helps. That's what happens when you go live on time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ben, what is up, sir?
Ben, hello. Respectable. So far. We'll see where tonight goes. All right.
So far.
Lemmy, with us in cozy today.
Oh, wow. Hello.
I saw something about said in cozies.
Oh, yeah. I need to take a closer look at Instagram later, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not carrying anything super fancy today, but anybody want to go first in particular?
I can go first. I went last a couple times in a row.
Yeah, okay. What are you carrying?
I'm carrying my North Arm Skaha 2 again, because it's not left my pocket.
It's a big shocker that you continue to carry just an excellent knife.
Yeah, it's good.
I hope at some point you can screenshot yourself with the Daisy mustache and put that up as your pick for 1 week. Yeah, exactly.
Gonna have to screen grab that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us are gonna remember to do it. Anyway,
No.
Is Daisy Mustache like a band name? Like what genre?
It should be, but it's all bluegrass. There's no way it's anything else.
Yeah, it's not even front stage at the Folk Fest. It's like one of the B stages at the Folk Fest for sure. It's
like they're good, but they're all drunk off their asses all the time. So it's more of a scheduling thing that you never hear of them.
They're still making somewhat of a living. So
if you could call it living, anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. It's an okay photo. It's an okay knife.
No, it's only using the most supreme of all blade steels,
I give it an overall Pokey factor 7 out of 10 for enthusiasm.
I mean,
it's pretty high coming from a guy who doesn't like flippers all that much.
it certainly is a daisy.
No.
I was also carrying a flipper today, but not nearly as fancy as this one. I was carrying a Nerk tie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Follow it up.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't carrying anything particularly fancy today, but it's a fantastic design. I don't know what you're talking about. It's definitely not relevant to today's conversation at all. There's another nugget for the. We'll come back to that.
Certainly is a nugget.
This is a. Yeah, exactly. This is a
Save it for later, he said.
Oh well, you could reheat it. Stick it in the microwave. 30
Don't
seconds.
do that with your nugget.
Look,
that's what air fryers are for, Joe.
Have you learned nothing? Yeah. This is an example of a knife that I want the custom variant of. Can't find one. Even if I had the cash to pay for it, which actually not terribly expensive when they do surface, but they don't seem to be available long. The guys who have them like them. Yeah. So the CRKT one's gonna have to do for now.
It's pretty funky.
It's funky.
Yeah, it's slim, as it were.
Yeah, one would almost think it's skinny.
Is the slimmest,
Mm-hmm.
one might say. Yeah, good times.
How about you?
Gotta point out quick, Ben is carrying his Leatherman Classic today, doing a little electrical work.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Leatherman Classic.
Indeed.
I'm assuming he just like the original Leatherman, then?
It's just a Leatherman TM. CJLA, hello. Why you yelling, man? Why you yelling?
Just
There's no exclamation point.
No,
It's not excited yelling.
he
It's
is
just
speaking in uppercase.
yeah,
it's extremely loud.
factual yelling. It's
Sounds about right.
I guess that's me. You guys powered through that pretty quick.
Yes.
It's-
Yeah.
Well, I had myself a mock golf tournament this weekend with a bunch of guys that make an annual event into a mockery.
Mhm.
And had the Buddha Glen came up. So I had noticed this weekend that Fisk has had a certain hate on band censorship, but also reposting, so kind of giving advertisement to a bunch of 31s lately. So in tribute, I carried it on the weekend. So
It's the right answer.
yeah. Savvy 31. It says 45 because it's not Magna Cut. Because I don't care.
The steel choice was not the factor that made you purchase that knife.
No, well, yeah, no, it kind of was.
45.
I mean, if they had to switch to something garbage, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger
I
on it.
guess. But just that it was something you didn't already know was kind of the.
I would have just held off a couple of years and waited for 20 CV to come my way or something. Like it's
Just 9 CR, just out of the blue.
Limited run.
re-release. They're re-releasing a CRKT version. It's I bet you it's pretty slim too, but yeah. And in fact, I had my Mojo ball with me because it's the Mojo ball, and took home a little statue. Got some hardware out of the deal, so it was not first place, but the little trophy did come home with me. So
Nice.
Very nice.
Still like an S45.
yeah, drops like a bitch. Reprofiled, super thin. We're gonna see how edge stability plays out. Benchmade can take it to 14 degrees, so can I, sons of bitches.
I've been playing with my meat crafter from Benchmade in S45, And I agree with you wholeheartedly with that. Stropping back, it's been killer in the kitchen. It's my go-to for any kind of butchery stuff right now.
Nice. Good to hear it's all working out.
Yeah. Butcheries. So there.
Yeah. So, shall we get on to the main event?
We got 5 minutes. All the people that have watched so far are going to be thrown off on when the actual review happens.
We've gotten a couple people to tell us what they're carrying, but I mean, there's at least one more person in chat right now.
My chat is not there. It's all black, so I'm going to rely on you guys to deal with that today. But
wow, that's good stuff. That seems like a valid excuse. It's a totally valid excuse.
Yeah.
And not a made-up one, so you don't have to look at our viewers at all.
I mean, if I don't have to.
I could turn it off right now if I wanted to. It's
No, the last message I have here is
It's
let
a
me
mood.
stand wave. That's the last message I got here. Yeah.
good times. So yeah, we could dive in a little bit early, get some specs and a little 1 minute blurb out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, whenever you want to do those things. So
yeah. Want me to bring up the exploding picture first while we're talking about it?
sure, why not?
It's kind of a neat picture. Yeah. This guy. Alright, whenever you're good.
All right. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So we are looking at the Benchmade 748 Narrows. It is the titanium handle M390 blade with a 3.4-inch blade on that, 8.02 overall. With good old M390, did I say that? Anyway, I don't know, 2.03 mil blade, 7.11 thickness overall on the mills. Overall weight, 2.41 ounces.
Light. Jeez.
Incredibly lightweight. My favorite thing about this knife has got to be the not Omega spring. It's super coily, super weird, and different, and I'm happy to see it.
Paul?
I kind of already went. I was just saying it's super weight.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, good to go. Yeah. Best thing about this thing is it's got individual tracks on the bearings, so easy disassembly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take some slight editing there, but that's okay. Wait a minute.
I didn't realize light was your comment.
I had a brain fart at the last minute, and
it's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Good times.
That's what happens when you're doing it as we're going.
So, as unlike we were talking before the show started here, yes, the pivot is black PVD coated. It seems in this picture. It's not. It's blue in every single picture I've ever seen, and the one that we've played with, it's all blue as well. So I'm just going to point that out now because it is a little strange to see. Yeah. Would this knife have looked better had all the hardware been black, or like kind of the steely gray, sort of like that? I mean,
but in every other Benchmade picture, I will say it's still blue hardware. So
still blue?
It's only the exploded picture that seems to be the black issue. Yeah.
Odd, very odd. Okay.
All right, let's dive in. Who wants to start? Pros, cons. What do we got?
Oh boy.
I mean, pros being not Omega Spring, Joe.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start there. Not Omega Spring. Thank you, Benchmade, for the third time that you, to my knowledge, that you've done an axis lock style knife that did not use regular Omega Springs. This is very nice to see. There was the Anthem with the coil spring. There were the Fact with the kind of loop-de-loop penny springs. And then there's this thing, which looks like a double section clothespin. That's
strange. That's Nana's clothespin. God damn it! You stole it from her.
You're right. I'm trying to get a good zoom in here because even on Benchmade's photo, it's a small little part. It's probably pretty difficult to photograph. Um, yeah,
It's a little
I
guy.
do. Yeah, it's just a little guy. Um, it is so the lock up, I guess, then comes from the that tiny little bar here, which must fit in between these pegs, and because that's the stop pin. It's cool. I like it. Theoretically, this should distribute the stress a little bit more evenly across the springs, so you shouldn't have to worry about these springs breaking over time as long as you keep them clean. I
CJ is having a quick question. The three that are not traditional Omega Springs, sorry,
Mhm.
not necessarily this coil spring or the Anthem, which is more like a Mannix spring, but it was the fact it has kind of a loop-de-loop Omega Spring. Still an
Yeah.
Omega Spring, but it's like a roller coaster. So you're up, you're
Yes,
down,
it
you're all
does a loop.
around. You get
Theoretically, that
stuck upside
means
down for 12 or so hours, depending on where you are in Austin, Texas. It wasn't Austin, it was somewhere else. Anyway,
truly awful. Thank you. But as somebody who has broken a lot of Omega Springs through what I would not consider to be abuse, this is nice to see. Although, and I feel like this is a point we'll come back to repeatedly, wow, it takes a price point for Benchmade to do anything like this. So, goddamn. Uh, yeah, but for me, that is the highlight, is the new spring. That makes this this narrowness more possible.
so Lemmy is not pulling any punches this evening. He's going to talk
Oh no.
about the SOG Ultra XR lock. So,
Yeah.
Joe, you and I have already talked about this said knife as well.
Yes, we did. Actually, I'll just leave this up here. Yeah, you keep talking for a second. I'm gonna try and see if I can drag up that photo because I have a blurry version. I need a clean version.
Well, he should have pictures ready. Why doesn't he have pictures ready, Paul? He said for me to keep talking, and now all I'm doing is talking about how bad Joe is at his job. See,
Well,
whose fault is this?
Don't worry about it.
he's not the only one.
It's all good.
Yeah, I don't have pictures to bring up. I said that 20 minutes ago before we
No,
went live.
I was
so
I was
it's
more
good.
referencing myself there.
Yeah, that's you. That's you.
Well, it looks like I may have to email the photo to myself. But effectively, the big kind of bombshell I wanted to talk about was that this isn't exactly. Guys were making the excuse that this is a super innovative knife, right? Um, it is different for Benchmade, but SOG definitely beat them to the punch. So the Ultra XR was a knife, and I'll just bring up a regular picture of that knife, just to show for now.
Now, I will also say while we're chatting about this is that Benchmade does not claim to have any sort of like new innovation, a patent on this, nothing
No, they
like
do not.
that.
No,
They aren't
all they've done is-
claiming that, except in maybe interviews. It's new to them. I think maybe is some of the strategic wording that you have on some of Benchmade's interviews.
I think
Yeah,
they've
that-
even mentioned, like even on their website, that exact same thing, that it's their thinnest knife to date, not that it is the thinnest knife to date.
So this is the
I was sorry, I was still talking about the lock, but anyway.
Oh, sorry.
yeah. No, that's actually the second part of this is there is actually not exactly the same spring type, but there is effectively Nana's unmodified, unmolested spring in the handles of this SOG. This is just a catalog photo of the gold PVD coated version, but you can see how thin this knife is, and you can easily see the coil spring sitting there on the inside of the bar. I'll
And
keep
Joe,
looking.
for the record, the next time you mention molesting nanas, you're gonna get booted from the chat. I'm just saying.
Well, just her spring. I mean, Nana herself was happily unmolested, but the spring completely molested. It's got this whole extra thing in it. It's not great. It's not great. But you can see what I mean. There's this big old kink that comes right out of the middle of the Benchmade spring, which I guess goes around their kind of pin that they're moving back and forth with it, versus the SOG Ultra spring, which just goes.
So what
all
you're
the way
saying is
across.
that Nana has a kinky spring?
yeah.
Okay.
Nana's got a couple kinks. That's don't worry about it. Paul's just
leaving
looking.
back.
I mean, I can see an obvious one there at least, but it's
It's the ones you don't see at first that really. Anyway.
well, I mean, we had to take a picture of it with its clothes off to get the full exposure. So
Yeah, I wasn't able to find pictures of a SOG Ultra completely disassembled, which was unfortunate because that would have been really cool to see, especially with the spread.
I'm just glad you didn't say naked.
Well, you know,
no one wants to see a SOG naked.
there we go.
Paul.
I think this is a good.
It's-
Sorry for jumping the image around. I'm gonna try and keep it at this zoom level. It's just easier to see. But yeah, anyway, that was just kind of a surprise to me. It was like, wow, holy shit, an entirely different knife company already did this concept. And depending who you talk to.
To be fair to Benchmade in that point, as soon as their patent went up, everybody else was like, "Oh, what's that? An access lock?"
well, I
So-
mean, some people didn't wait.
Can somebody say Gonzo? Yeah.
But point being,
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, how long are you gonna make a locking mechanism before you're like no one else can use it? Say, but like it's gonna happen eventually.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah, for sure. For sure it will.
absolutely. I think
mean,
it should.
Opinel's still waiting for someone to try to steal that one from him.
Yeah, Cold Steel did it.
I was gonna say, isn't there like a Baron Sons or something? There's another company that does it.
Yeah, there's a couple, but I think Cold Steel was the earliest.
Well, that's how you know Opinel made it.
So now the SOG Ultra XR, Dennis and I had to look this up, but the earliest evidence I could find for it was like 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. So it's been around
Correct,
a little
sir.
bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing.
How wide is one of those?
Ooh, I'm not 100% sure offhand.
As
But
far as slim.
it's extremely similar. It might actually even be more thin because the blade stock is the same on the SOG, and the handle material actually looks like it might be slightly thinner. It's
This
hard
is
to
wild.
say. Yeah, it's within. It's got to be within a millimeter, easy. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, like I said before about the Benchmade is very specific about saying that it's the thinnest knife that they've made, not that it's the thinnest knife made.
Yes.
And I wonder if this thing beats them out.
Well, this isn't the only knife that I took notice of when comparing the narrows.
That's fair.
I have a ton of photos here. I'm not going to pull them all up, but I did have a couple side by sides. In particular, and mostly for the high contrast, I had the narrows next to this guy, the Broken Skull, because this is a prime example of what Cold Steel was doing for many years, which was very thin G10 slabs. And there's other knives that do this as well. Like there's the Holdout that they still make with the thin G10. There's the Code 4. But just to give you an idea,
A handle, and I'm not sure what this converts to in mils, but 0.2 of an inch. So
Okay.
Okay.
I believe that the narrow is 0.28.
so it's 5 millimeters. 0.2 inches is 5.
0.20. Yeah. Is what the SOG Ultra X are. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To keep you in the loop on that. Yeah.
Right. So I would say the difference between this knife and the narrows, there's a negligible difference. There's got to be around about a quarter millimeter is what I was saying earlier to Paul. But now that I'm looking at it, this blade stock is about 3 millimeters. The narrows is about 2 in this photo. So you can see, yeah, there's not that much difference.
Yeah.
Point being.
2.03. Oh, yeah. Mil. Yeah.
It might just be the blade thickness.
Oh,
might be-
yeah, the blade is the thing that is the most responsible for the handle, because if you look at the very bottom here, the bottom two scales, they're almost exactly the same thickness.
Yeah,
It does
exactly.
come down. So yeah, this thing might be slightly thicker because, the difference being the ball bearings in the narrows versus the washers. Yeah, so if both of these had ball bearings, this would be thicker still, I would say.
So one of the things that they did on the narrows, and what I was talking about, is that the bearings both have their own track. I didn't really explain that clearly. And what I mean by that is I did actually see some disassembly videos, and what they did, it was pretty strategic on this one, but what they did is they actually milled out a track on the handle on the one side of where the bearings sit, but kept the blade flat. And on the other side, they milled the track on the blade and kept the
Yeah.
handle flat.
Yeah,
They
that's
did that
cool.
in the Anthem too.
Did they as well?
Yeah.
Were they single side one and the other type of thing? And the other thing with that goes hand in hand with that is super easy disassembly and reassembly.
Yeah.
Because now you can sit one into the handle, one into the blade, have everything lined up, and just seat it all back together super easy.
They
Yeah.
did something somewhat similar with actually the isotope here from Miro, where everything's pocketed really deeply. But it does not make things easier to disassemble. You have to pop the whole thing apart. But anyway, but it is something that I've seen other manufacturers do in their pivots.
And with that as well, that is actually helping keeping it fairly thin as well.
Absolutely.
Being that it was strategically milled like that, right? So
Yeah, it's half as wide as it would need to be.
fancy, fancy.
Yeah. Not yeah. We are gonna. I imagine we're gonna be slagging on this knife a little bit soon, but I don't want people to think that we think that this is a poorly constructed knife. The Narrows is very well made.
Well, I mean, we don't have a picture of it exploded on the inside, but I was able to get a pretty good picture. I don't know if you were able to get one as well, type of thing, but I got a pretty good one of the internal milling.
The pocketing, yes. I got an okay picture, so I'm gonna grab yours first. This is the one showing the spine.
What's probably the most impressive about it is whatever pockets they have on the outside, they've also milled those same pockets on the inside.
Yeah.
Your photo looks a lot better than mine. I'm just not going to use mine.
So yeah, I was able to get a bit of a shot of all of the internal, and it's insane. It's insane on how thin they actually made this thing, and still kept it structurally sound.
I don't know if either one of you like kind of pressed on those areas where it was milled, but it was pretty damn solid. Like,
and that's what I mean. That's what I mean about the structurally sound is when you did really the bug out flex. It didn't have a bug out flex. It was rock solid. Like it's and without a liner, without like I mean anything that's got an aluminum or a steel frame or anything like Osborne's or whatever do have a liner or a half liner or whatever, right? So that's reinforcing everything. But to just be two slabs of titanium that are already yeah.
Absolutely. It's been well machined, to say the absolute least. Like it's I really like the machining on the Anthem, but I think this kind of puts the machining on that to shame as far as like just how close everything really is in certain spots.
Yes, but I get to segue into some slagging now because at least yours got a milled penis clip. This one got a blue PVD bug out clip, which is horse patookies.
So why is it horse patookies, Dennis? Why doesn't this cut the mustard?
Because it's a bug out clip.
And why does that matter here?
Painted blue on a $600 knife. It's $580 on their website.
It's a $600 goddamn knife.
$580 USD. I didn't mention that in the little 1 minute rundown, by the way, on their website. So, but that bug out clip, it's a bug out clip, and they didn't even parkerize it or anything. They just painted it blue. And if you look real close, this picture that I zoomed in, this PVD coating that they put on it, it's purple. Look, it looked right in there. Right in there. It's not even painted blue. It's kind of painted purple a little bit.
So this is a horse that we will beat until it is paced. But this knife is really goddamn expensive. To put it in perspective, Paul, do you remember how much the Anthem was when it was available?
Less.
Yeah, less. Okay, so there has been inflation there has been costs rising with relevant materials, but it wasn't that dissimilar from the current price point on the Narrows. And we're
No.
talking about a fully 3D machined titanium integral using the same blade steel, effectively.
Yep.
I forget, was it M390 or was it 20 CV?
20 CV.
Okay, so the American equivalent of the M390 that's used in the Narrows. You get a custom penis clip. You get custom custom everything, custom hardware. The only similarity in this regard is that they're titanium both, and they both have a modified version of the Axis look. See, he is working on it. Nice.
Yeah, it's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah, it is. It's not the color that puts me off, but I think the part I do agree with Dennis as far as the clip goes. Really, you're gonna give me the same clip that I get on? Yeah, come on. It's not that good of a clip. It's not. It just isn't. I'm sorry.
I mean, unless you're going to do like we in Civivi, where you start releasing a 2-screw hole pattern milled clip.
I would be fine with that. I would be fine
It
with
should
that.
still come with a knife.
You know what else I would be fine
on
with?
this one in particular, it should. Yeah.
They did mill this so that it would be compatible with left or right hand carry. That's great. I would have liked to have seen, and maybe they couldn't do this because of how thin the handle was already, but a little bit of pocketing for the clip to sit into. Like, just a little bit of a shelf. Something.
The same amount of pocketing that the rest of it has.
Yeah, honestly, if they had done that, my only concern would have been maybe enough material for threads.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah. Either way, they should have done a custom clip option. I do find it funny that they continue to use the 3-hole pattern and then give you a 2-hole deep carry clip. I know they want it to be compatible with the old style Benchmade clip for the guys who like it, but it's just a weird choice here.
Those guys don't exist.
There's 2 of them. Works at Benchmade.
Yeah.
The other one's Emerson holding on,
yeah,
holding on to a really old model of his. Yeah,
exactly.
So what else we got here, guys?
Well,
I got a weird little note here. Size comparison wise, let's go some size comparison.
Yeah.
We heard Griffin talk about looks a lot like a Griptilian. I don't know if Griff's in chat this week, but yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, here's the side by side.
So, little size comparison. I don't know if it's the irrelevant one or not. No, that's just the close up one. That's cool. Yeah. So definitely has some similar belly, at least. Not as much ramp, but
not as much ramp. Slightly more belly.
It's like if a bug out and a Griptilian had a baby.
Takes more after the father than the mother. You work out who's who in that context.
A Griptilian.
The full size comparison with the irrelevant size comparison in the center as well.
The relevant size comparison. That's right. Yeah. So very similar to a grip. Holes and handle and blade size. And then I did throw up another size comparison there as well, both for price point, which was one of the reasons I carried this bad boy this weekend, but also for size comparison, also not that far off from Mr. Sebi. So, yeah.
Full size Sabenza is pretty close in overall length and grip area, cutting edge. It's close.
Blade does have some advantage still, but what was that, Paul?
I said it's an argument that's been made by kind of the fairly negative Narrows haters or whatever.
For what you're getting. For what you're getting, it's
it's, and we probably should expound more on the pricing and competitive options and all that.
Well, one other size comparison before you do here, Joe, Runaway. One thing of note, even though I don't have it in a picture, but it's actually a PM2 blade The narrows is 3.43. The PM2 is 3.48.
Oh,
There are 5/100ths of a difference on blade. Now that PM2 does have a finger choil and you're losing some of that, but when you actually put end of handle versus end of handle, a PM2 and a narrows is nigh on identical. So
well, okay.
That's fun.
I do have kind of a bunch of size comparisons here. I could just throw up just while we're talking.
is one of them a PM2?
I don't think I actually got the PM2 in this one, unfortunately. No one said anything.
I
and
normally
wasn't
don't because
connect,
it's. I don't usually because it's a redundant size comparison that just everyone uses. So I try to use other things that people know. But
no, I actually did grab one here with my Sebenza 21 and the bug out in the S90V, which I wanted to make sure I got a picture of because hey, you're getting about the same, almost the same weight, I think. You're getting
2.41 is what the narrows is.
You're getting S90V, which is more and more frequently becoming considered an upgrade to M390 for a lot of people. Getting carbon fiber handles, very strong, very lightweight, and still has an axis lock. So as far as competitive options within Benchmade's old lineup, it's like, yeah, okay, 2/3 the cost, half, a little over half, somewhere in there.
And you get an also disappointing blue.
You do, but it's slightly
like aluminum.
It's slightly less disappointing, but
slightly less disappointing blue.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about that knife is that lanyard hole.
I actually don't hate it. I mean, I would prefer if it were just the carbon fiber, but I hate it.
Did they make a replacement that's just solid, no lanyard hole?
I don't think they do.
Titanium, I mean, all the blades are the same, right? So you can use that platform.
Something with a tritium insert.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, you, not me, but you.
You do those things.
you definitely do those things.
So
now that's titanium.
Got one with the code 4 above, because the code 4 I've seen come up in online discussion quite frequently when regarding this knife.
Okay.
They're not too far off from each other. You actually get a surprisingly slightly deeper carry with the code 4. Not really. Actually, even as I say that, the code 4 I don't think has a deep carry clip. But they are very similar. Weight, though, I did grab the weight from the code 4 clip point. What was the weight on that guy? It was 4.3 ounces. So yeah,
4.3 double.
Yeah. It's a thick old blade, and it's a deep hollow grind. But the Tonto had a hollow grind. It's still a flat grind, so there's a lot to work with there. So another knife that's not. Oh wow, that came out super blurry. Fantastic. Anyway, have a photo. Got one with my 707 and the Skaha as well. So talking about you could buy both of those knives, I think, for the same money that you would have to pay for the narrows.
Don't be saying those things anymore. 707s aren't what they were a year ago. Shut your face, Joe.
This is less.
I guess, yeah, they did go up a little bit. Okay, so not quite, but it's come on, it's
yeah, close. A little bit.
Yeah, this again.
It's a theme tonight.
Theme. This is less.
Now, for equivalent or near equivalent dollar value, there's my Vero. Isotope is just about the same when they're available. Yes, I know availability is kind of a weird thing right now. 762. I believe this is the ZT 762.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
762.
There's a lot going on with that knife. Crazy weird grind, multi-layer titanium, a lot of 3D contoured and machined carbon fiber. Yeah, it's a cool knife. It's not for everybody, but it's a cool knife. Not as thin as the narrows, but there's
still less money.
Mm-hmm. And all American made, so there's that.
Lemmy, this trifecta of sexy that you speak of is not this picture.
The narrows is there. Come on.
I mean, maybe if you took 3 knives from all of these pictures and you got some sexy after the fact. But
hey,
Oh,
Cute. Uh,
Someone got lied to about some G10 handles on a crosscut, but anyway.
I'm not mad. It looked good. Well, it looks good, I guess. It's only got the one side. Anyway, yeah. Point being, there are certainly a lot of competitive options for the dollar and under the dollar value. Everybody bitches about the price, and I feel like we still have to bitch about the price, but
it's the right thing to do.
Well, okay, so all they had to do was not PVD, because then there would be no excuse. I mean, maybe bug out clip, maybe that would give you a little bit of an excuse, but if you hadn't a PVD'd and you had done some proper anodizing, there wouldn't be much for people to bitch about other than Nana's clothes spring. Because, give it back.
Nana can't do her laundry. She's getting sad. Come on.
She's got nightgowns that need to go out to dry. They're not going to dry themselves.
They're gonna get musty.
Yeah.
Don't talk about grandma's musty. Anyway, clothing. Yeah. The fact that there's no ano, no 3D patterning on here outside of the pockets. I get they were going for a lightweight weight reduction, but you're basically making a gold class without calling it a gold class. Like,
Well, no,
Well-
wait till they make a gold class version
Okay.
of this one. So
if
Yeah,
they
send it from next
do,
month, it's fine.
if they do, I have suggestions. Damasteel makes what? What's the term? Austenitic. It's no shoot. I'm drawing a blank at the term, but basically, it's Damasteel that they make in the same patterns as their blades, but it's not blade grade material. It's effectively
jewelry.
non-magnetic. Doesn't. Yeah. You would use it for jewelry. If they made handles out of that stuff and then took a matching pattern, but in the actual blade grade Damasteel, that would be probably the coolest gold class that they've done since the Pinnacle, in my mind. But just in terms of treatment of the materials,
I would love to see a gold class come in for this thing that's actually comes in at a lower price point.
that would be fucking funny. Something I do expect, though, more realistically speaking, is to see this knife in the future with aluminum handles or G10 handles at a much lower price point. Think like 154 CM or S30V.
One can only hope.
Well, I really do hope, because
You think so? I don't think that's going to happen on this one.
Do you think they're going to compete with their bug out?
I think they might, but they're going to see, because this is already so expensive. Any further variation on this is still going to be more expensive than any version of a bug out. Like the whatever the cost is on the S90V carbon fiber, it's going to be about that price for slightly worse materials, effectively.
Benchmade rarely swings low though. They'll start low and swing high, but they rarely start high and then swing low.
I guess.
Sweet chariot.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, now that you say that, I'm trying to think of examples where they have done that, but
The only one I can think of off the top of my head was the G10 Osborne, but it still came in around the same price that the aluminum Osborne.
that's just it. It was more of a lateral move than it was a
Well,
significant
and
downgrade.
I think it was a response to the S90, and everyone's like, "Oh, lightweight Osborne, blah blah blah, carbon fiber so light, lighter than the aluminum, blah blah blah," and then they did a lateral move then to make
Yeah.
the G10 one that was the lightweight, but not for hundo. So
Can we? No, I've lost it. Never mind. It's
No.
gone.
The train
Yeah.
of thought just it went off the
Yeah,
rails
we-
and
left the stage
into the
and then
clouds. Oh
we
no!
we could, but we don't know where to start.
We don't
So
know where to stop.
yeah.
Oh god!
Well, I know where to stop. I'll put the stopwatch. There's a timer on that, but
I was gonna say we are wrapping up at we're at about a 30-minute review here.
yeah.
If there's
I think-
anything else,
I think we covered about it. 30% thinner than a bug out, which would seem impressive if you didn't compare it to other knives already on the market.
if didn't take absolute measurements on things.
Did we make the point? I don't know because I never made it during the 1 minute section Did we make the point about the access bar being like tapered and as a
Oh,
thing?
I think we talked. We just meant. I think I mentioned it briefly. We didn't really focus in on it.
The bar being
awesome.
like the APB buttons,
It's
but
kind of like an inset. Yeah, yeah. So you've got the textured pads here, but then you also have this tiny bar that goes between them. So it's a different way to interact with the access lock. It's cool. I definitely think I prefer it to the standard sort of studs. I like having the pads, but
yeah,
Hmm.
but Granny's sitting there all alone with some wet clothes. I tell you, no one's fault but you guys. Oh,
oh,
you sons of bitches buying fancy Benchmades.
Poor Gray.
Nana would shake her head.
so
Go get you a buck knife and be done with it.
there you go.
Now.
It's not.
So
yeah. Sorry, go for it.
the ramped studs. I don't know if Paul is aware of. I believe it was the Benchmade APB
The APB. I love that.
Starting?
that had some textured bar, just like said
So
thing.
it's their buttons where pressing either one of them would jostle an axis lock on the inside of the knife out of the way. It was a very strange mechanism. I really wanted one until I figured out that it still used the Mega Springs, and then I said, "Fuck that." Uh, but this is a picture, Paul. I don't know if you would have seen these or not.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept. You know, if they remade these with coil springs, I'd be all over it.
They're set, you're letting their secrets free.
Yeah,
Secrets
I mean,
you don't do.
Yeah.
they got to take Nana's next door neighbor's clothespins after that. It's
Yeah, well, that guy's an asshole. It's fine.
that whole dirt road's gonna be like clotheslineless.
Sitting in damp clothes. That's fine. You'll catch a chill.
It's a sad scenario you've all painted. It's
I know.
fantastic.
I know. There's like the sad Robin Hood Nottingham music going on in the background.
That's awful. Thank you.
Are we done here?
Yeah,
I think so. Conclusion time. God damn, this knife is expensive. Oh, okay. Last thing. Cost of materials does not make sense for this knife. Even keeping in mind the amount of machining that's going on, this thing is way too goddamn expensive. Titanium is not that expensive. Bought in bulk, bought at the sizes they would be using for this knife. M390 is not terribly expensive. It's not that pricey. Sorry, that's no. Once again, I am disappointed by Benchmade pricing. Give this a. You know what? If I found this knife on the ground, I'd keep it, be happy with it, be fantastic. But I'm not paying that price. No way, no. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say 7 out of 10. Maybe like a 4 out of 10 on this one.
Ooh. For enthusiasm?
For enthusiasm, like a 4 out of 10 for enthusiasm. I'm still trying to come up with a. No, I'm trying to come up with a witty rating.
I see. You could just let someone else go.
No. It narrowly. How about this? Here's my witty rating. It narrowly gets a 4 out of 10. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a groan. That's a groan.
That means it almost got a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I like where your head's at. Yeah, pretty much.
Me or you, Dennis? Me or you?
You do what you need to, man. If you're ready, you're ready. If you're not, you're not.
It was this close.
This close.
This close.
That's the rating.
Narrowly missed the mark, one might say.
All right, Dennis, give us a 3-fer.
I'm not going your route at all. I never do. Come on.
All right.
I'm rating this Batman. This knife gets 1 Batman. And you may ask yourself why it deserves 1 Batman. And the reason is Nana Batman. Just give
Like we're-
Nana back her
Wh-
clothespins.
Which Batman?
Adam West.
Obviously.
Okay.
I
Correct.
mean, yeah, it's gonna have sound effects, but all like visual sound effects.
I just heard the screen wipe sound in my head right now. Full volume.
Mhm.
Na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, fantastic.
But like,
There you go.
it sounded better in my head, if I'm being honest.
Oh, well.
So
fuck
did
you.
my score, but you know.
It's all
No, I
good.
liked
It was extremely painful. I enjoyed that.
Batman.
No. Batman.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
That's
say.
actually 4 nanas. It's,
Oh man.
4 nanas and a Batman. It's-
Oh,
No wonder the
Batman.
clothes are damp. Anyway, let's segue right away from this review.
I was just gonna
Uh.
say that was some different pow zowie zap sound effects. That's for sure.
not
Zap.
if you're choosing the Adam West to Batman. He was known for a thing or two. Well, I'm not gonna get into it.
That's
But a
fair.
thing or two.
All right.
All right, rounds us out. Thanks for joining us on the Benchmade Narrows review. We are going to continue on with some live streamy garbage for a bit because that's a good time. All right. We will see you again on our next review. Thanks for joining us.
And...
These are my goodbye guns.
Yeah.
Pow! Zap! Zowie?
Toodle
Was Zowie ever one of the effects? Or am
Of
I
course
just...
it was. No, they got creative with that shit. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I was pulling that from, like, Calvin and
Biff?
Hobbes or something. Yeah.
There was a Biff. There was a Zippy. There
I knew
was
about
many
Biff.
things.
I
Yeah.
knew about Biff.
Everyone knows about Biff.
Yep.
Nana knows something about Biff, let me tell you.
She would. She would.
Yeah, cool. Good times. Anyone got anything?
I got 2 little nuggets, and they're
I
kind of
think
gross.
I might have some. I don't even know.
I got a thing. I can talk about a thing.
Okay, let's talk about your thing instead of my gross little nuggets. Let's do that.
Yeah, stop talking about nuggets. Like, find a different term. Jesus
No,
Christ.
no, it's here to stay. It's truly awful, and we're gonna keep
Are they
using it.
knowledge nuggets?
Tasty
Um,
nugs.
Knowledge nugget is good. I like that. It's less gross sounding for sure.
Yeah. Less brand.
Yeah.
So
if
I
you
guess
got... Sorry, go for it.
I guess we're starting with my thing.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it's more slagging on Benchmade, so that's fun.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You can just go to the that fancy station knife, and I'll bet you about a price on a knife.
Hey, that almost sounds like something we've done before.
Yeah.
Well, you see.
Speaking of bitching about Benchmades, we can't get these, but did you know that they're making shootouts with Grivery now and charging more money? Instead of the
Nice.
CF Elite. Anyway.
What were
How
you
can
saying there, Dennis?
No, I got nothing.
sorry, I just completely erased that. So I'm at the station knife.
The one, the fancy whatever.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Perfect.
The camo, copper, fat carbon, registered trademark.
Oh yeah, we were complaining about an
Carbon fiber?
imaginary. That's what I was gonna mention. So we were gonna complain about an imaginary price on a knife that we can't get.
Yeah.
There's other things to bitch about, if I'm being honest.
Like what, Paul? Educate us.
Well, first and foremost, you'll see that pretty fancy pattern that's on that blade.
Yeah.
On that side, anyways. For whatever reason, if you were to customize a station knife yourself, you could put the pattern on both sides. But for $750, they couldn't be bothered to do it for you.
Just sit, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
Complaint number one.
usually Benchmade is good about caring about left-handed people. You know, ambi clips on basically everything. They couldn't be bothered to color in the right side of the knife so that when a left-handed person uses it, they get to see that beautiful pattern. Complaint number 1.
Wow, it would be that much more money if they did it then. Like, come on, man.
But it's only like $10 or $15 to do it in the customizer. You're telling me
Yeah.
it's not worth for $750?
Now, can he get the camel carbon fat carbon?
No, you absolutely can't.
Okay.
Which is a shame because it's pretty carbon fiber. But
But what you mean is if you get laser etching on one side, it's just an additional 15 to get it on the other side.
it's not crazy
So
expensive to get laser.
you're
engraved.
saying the cost is basically a rounding error for Benchmade, and they
Yes,
don't
that's
include.
exactly what I'm trying to say. Yeah, negligible.
Okay.
CJLA, I agree. It is a pretty knife, but the most egregious complaint that I have is the 4-point spread on their 154 CM for this knife for some reason.
Yeah. What the hell? You told me about that today. I did not realize that was the case.
They got Ontario knives to heat treat it for them. Shut up.
Clearly,
Now you say 4-point, but I am seeing a 58 to 61 being quoted here.
58, 59, 60, 61. That's 4 points.
Okay. Making sure, because I've had people actually try to argue that point with me in the past.
No.
Yeah, 4-point spread versus yeah. So Benchmade knows how to heat treat 154 CM, much less CPM 154.
You wouldn't know it from this.
No, but if you look at the the point spreads on, I think any other model that uses 154 CM, especially in their folders, it's a 2-point spread. I think.
And of all the places you're going to go soft, it's the kitchen knife for some reason.
Which
Is it thinner? Is it thinner behind the edge, so it's gonna have more variance?
that doesn't make much sense though. In a kitchen knife, you're gonna go for those higher hardnesses, generally speaking, because you should only be the hardest thing you should ever be contacting is your cutting board, theoretically, right? I don't know of any reason why you would want a kitchen knife to be that much softer. Now that being said, I don't know what the rest of their they have a 3-piece set here. If we go to that, does it say have the same spread on the heat treatment?
I would love to know.
Now,
Yep, same
what
spread.
I was saying, Joe, is on their kitchen knives versus a pocket knife, would the thickness behind the edge, because these ones are a little bit thinner, big wide blade on them?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Same heat treatment process that they normally do on their 154 CM, but it's giving them a bigger spread. So rather than change their heat treatment process, they're just keeping the same heat treatment process and saying that it's a wider spread now.
For $750, I can buy a custom knife that's probably 61, 62.
I'm not Benchmade. I just
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
And
that actually.
there is certainly a difference between batch quenching versus a guy at home in his own garage or shed or shop. I mean, making his own things, heat treating one at a time. That's not the same thing.
I don't know to what extent Benchmade does their own heat treat, what they send out. But I thought Benchmade had a vacuum furnace that used what they call a neutral atmosphere, which isn't really neutral. It all that means is they're using something other than oxygen, like argon, I think. Yeah, to keep the steel from oxidizing and carbonizing as you pull heat to and from the steel. So I don't know that it would actually make that big of a difference if they use the exact same heat treatment protocols. I don't think it would change all that much, if I'm being honest.
You would think it would cool down faster and end up harder.
Yeah, you see, I'm not 100% sure about that. Now, although now that we're talking about this, I do want to take a look at the Meat Crafter, specifically the variant made in 154, and see what they say the spread is on that. Because that's quite a thin blade. So if anything's going to be sensitive in heat treatment,
it's supposed to be a 14 degree on that one too, isn't it? Right. So
yeah. So if there's going to be a difference in a heat treatment spread, you think you would see it in a piece of very thin steel like that.
It's true. It's true.
So this would be view specs.
And I say all these things because I like that the station knife, and I wish that us as Canadians were able to get them because it's a good looking knife, and I would love to add it to my kitchen, but not for $750.
Interesting. So they also say 58 to 61 on the meat crafter.
Do they have anything else in 154 cm in
Just
production right now?
the
Tagged out.
barrages that. Oh yeah, yeah.
Tag. But the barrage I'd be more interested in because it's a 20-degree angle, whereas the tagged out I think still might be the select edge.
It absolutely is the 14-degree. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the. Is that how they're getting the durability? I wonder.
Cheeky.
It still says 58 to 61. Why did I think that there was
Yeah.
only a 2-point variance or a 3-point spread on this?
Maybe there used to be.
Maybe. Do you think they've relaxed their standards from now? I want to go back and look in old
In
Benchmade
old
catalogs
catalogs?
to see what they say. Ah, man.
Oh, we're losing to Dennis. We said the magic word.
We're
No.
we're
Weapons
the
vendors
weeds.
are trying to kill me again. No, very too much. I was like, you might be able to find it. No, not finding it anytime
That's all
soon.
right. That's all right.
All
Yeah.
that being said, I said before, the meat crafter in the kitchen is phenomenal. That handle
Yeah.
feels super good in the hand in the kitchen. So that station knife is basically a meat crafter handle, anyways, and I like it.
It's not the worst thing they've ever made. But for that price point, especially, I really wish they had a bit of a tighter
Magnicut?
control on the. Oh well, shit. I mean, if you're gonna give me a decent blade steel for the kitchen, Magnicut would be great, and for that price point.
Yeah,
I mean, again, fat carbon is expensive.
Yeah.
The fit and finish work the Benchmade typically does is it's expensive, but
they could have dangled us over our heads in Magnicut. We would have been like idiots.
think I don't know. All of this is just, and along with the narrows too. But this has been going on for a really long time. Or lately, it's been feeling like it's been building up to this over a long period of time. Is what I'm trying to get at. Benchmade is like repositioning itself as like a high-end luxury sort of brand. Like they've been very much moving away from this entry level to good workhorse to hey, production version of a custom knife. They're like moving. And
Well,
they're not the only
lifestyle.
company to do this.
Like it's
but,
a lifestyle brand, but they're pushing
Yeah.
a premium lifestyle brand. Kind of similar to what Kershaw and ZT are doing, but promotional videos that are era
Yeah.
specific. So ZT also has that premium lifestyle video.
yeah.
Oof.
One of the things too you could very easily look at is the dwindling number of custom makers that they actually actively collaborate with. They collaborate with people for the designs that go on the side of their folders. Like they did that limited run of meat crafters, or not meat crafters, sorry, Crooked Rivers that we covered a while ago.
With the pheasants and such.
Yeah.
Well, and even that one that they did with the mountain artwork
Yep.
on their own website or whatever it was, right? So yeah. But that's also notable about ZT is the lack of work with designers and a lot of in-house things going on.
I don't like seeing it regardless of the company, but it is something that I don't know. I didn't expect it from either of them, but I less expected it from Benchmade for some reason. I don't know why I had it in my head, but I don't know. I don't know why they would go this route aside from just maybe they not to say, oh, they're getting greedy, but like better profit margins, not having to split income with outside designers. Maybe they looked at the agreement they had with Warren Osborne and they realized, oh wow, we don't have to pay that kind of money to somebody for designing a knife once. Yeah. But the flip side is, it's hard. It's becoming more difficult to differentiate. Okay, why am I paying this much money? Then, if I'm not getting a custom design, that's whatever. I'm not saying the meat crafter or that the station knife is poorly done. like you said, super comfortable handle. They're nice to work with.
Yeah.
But as far as like enthusiast territory, they're starting to get on the edge of pricing themselves out. And Benchmade has always been expensive, so that's kind of saying something.
Well, and that might just say that they know where their line is. Because they've always been right on the border of like a knife comes in and all of us are like, oh, that's a lot of money. Are they going to sell that at blah, blah? And it's like, oh, no, it lasted 48 hours and they're gone. So,
At the end of the day, they sell.
This knife is actually a bit of an example of that. And I hate to say it, but limited quantities because they sell. So these guys are limited quantities, right? So
yeah.
And like Joe was saying, I don't want to give the impression that I don't think this knife is a good knife. It's just kick in the pants. But I'm sure we have other things we could probably chitter chatter about as far as that goes. We don't need to beat that dead horse.
I don't.
Is paste.
I don't. So I'm like, no, I don't actually think I do have anything this week.
That's fair. You carried us the last couple of weeks, I think. I have two little somewhat related nuggets. So, talking about ZTs, it sure looks like the 0707 at the very least, and a few others potentially are getting discontinued. No announcement that I'm aware of. I didn't look today or yesterday, but up until that point, I had been searching. I didn't see anything. They're on sale at certain knife retailers, and I had actually seen one posted as discontinued in its listing. That's disappointing to me. I also heard, slightly related, this is just a rumor right now, but I have heard that there was a particular video in which a ZT rep had said there are things that they're planning on releasing in 2023, like multiple products they're planning on releasing. It's getting a bit late in the year for that, but
after the one product that they released, but could it be just more blue 4.56s?
That's exactly. So what exactly that means, but I thought it would be something to throw in, but it's like,
I don't know if I can actually stay on pins and needles anymore after this year with ZT. Like, it's just like, let's see what you come up with. Hopefully you surprise me. Hopefully you do. But it's going to be hard.
I'm definitely not expecting anything in particular. The other thing... Sorry?
I just said, I agree with you. It's hard to expect anything, but what they're throwing us.
And I've said this so many times, but like they did the Livewire, that very nice looking OTF in the Kershaw lineup. When by the materials and by the construction of the build, it's like, wow, that would have been really cool to introduce through ZT.
Yeah,
or
that
come along.
Should have been a zero tolerance for sure.
Are they again? Pet theory of mine is they're trying to slowly kill the brand of ZT. That's what it feels like, and it sucks because even the stuff I don't particularly care for from ZT, it's like, oh, it's still a nice knife and it's still good, pretty cool. There's been very few ZT knives where it's been like, wow, that's shit value for $9. But anyway, the other thing on the note of things being discontinued, so CRKT recently redid their website, and if I look up this
knife, please don't.
Exactly.
Anything on CRKT's website, just don't. It's so gross now.
So
it's bad.
No results for the Nook type. They used to make this in a blue and Oz 8 and a green with 8CR. Neither one of them turn up anymore. And I thought, oh, okay, well maybe the search is busted. I can't find it if I manually scroll through all the products in their catalog here.
What if you typed in the number, not with a CR, just the 5481 or whatever it is?
Close, 5241. But no, same thing, nothing. So they just quietly, and I don't know what else in their catalog is missing, because I honestly only figured this out, like, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was like, oh, weird, it's not showing up on their page anymore. I don't know what else has gotten distoed quietly, but again, no announcement, no, hey, we're selling out the last whatever. Because they had the original Nerk tie available for well over a year or two after they discontinued it. And they even said on the website, hey, this is old stock. Once we're out, we're out. But yeah, it's
Well, and
kind of
CRKT's been known to do that when they'll put even on their own website something on clearance because
yeah.
it got discoed and they got a whole bunch of them that they're clearing out, right? Like that's not unheard of.
No, for sure. But as far as their shop is concerned, their public-facing shop, they don't have any of that. They
They
don't even
make
have a
up-
disc. They don't even have their discontinued section anymore, which was
Yeah,
always
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
neat to go through. So yeah, it's just disappointing and kind of weird. Um, Again, as far as like a knife company that routinely collaborates with outside designers, it's interesting to be able to get custom, like designs that hey, I really want the custom, but oh my god, $2,000, I can't afford that. What do you mean, Michael Walker's got a well? Michael Walker's customs are not just $2,000, but you know what I'm trying to say. You can get a Michael Walker from CRKT right now. That's super cool. Um, would appreciate a little bit more heads up when they're gonna just kill an entire lineup. Uh, yeah.
The contract is over, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I
I think
almost cut the hell out of myself with my ska. I'm putting that down.
one
Yeah,
of the
that was
things
fun.
I think one of the things with CRKT though too is they have such a huge lineup
They do, yeah.
that I mean, yeah, they know announcement it went under the wire, blah blah blah. But there's a lot of knives on CRKT's catalog that get discontinued and they don't make an announcement for a bunch of them because
Yeah,
they make 40 knives every year,
They just-
right? So
They just quietly go away.
yeah. That is true. It's just disappointing when it happens for knives I'm interested in. It's all about me.
that's where the truth actually comes out here. It's like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but shouldn't they send me an email blast at least? Like it's
I'd be.
You're the last guy that bought one of these. We just want you to know, thank you, and good night.
It's like, how did you know I bought one of those? Like, I'd be a little paranoid at that point. Like, what the?
They're
It's
watching you. Jeff.
it's been
They're
chipped.
watching you.
Yeah.
It's been shipped. Where? Where on this particular knife? Oh my god, there it is. No.
That's the third person that's using the microphone.
Oh,
That's
that
a
makes
throwback.
sense. It's CRKT. Well, if you're listening, you should make a high-end version of the Nerk tie, but bring it back in the 4-inch blade because that thing is ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. Some discontinued stuff, some discontinued little things, and just strange that nobody talks about it. And by nobody, I mean the companies who make the thing.
And we did dabble on the fact that CRKT revamped their website, but I don't know if we also dabbled on the fact that Benchmade revamped their website as well, and it's horrendous. It's just
They
bad.
both went to the same web designer.
It's bad. It's just do better.
Is it like do your own HTML at home?
No, it's more like they went with Shopify, but like went with one of the crappier templates and didn't streamline it for their products. That's the vibe I get, but I haven't really dug into this all that much.
Is there no dark mode? Like, why has it got to be so bright for?
I actually have an extension for my normal web browser that forces dark mode on websites that don't have it natively. I don't see a dark mode on here though.
Yeah, no, it hurts my feelings.
They say
Oh, if you go to tactical,
No.
does it go all black? Oh, that's a waste of an opportunity. Anyway. Look, okay, I know that the full immunity is part of their black class, but seriously?
Look,
You know.
that's a tactical bead, Joe.
Oh my god, it better be.
They don't even show you it on their website, but there's a tactical bead.
that bead ain't for pleasure.
No, it's for bonking.
It's not one of Nana's beads.
Yeah, it's not Nana's beads, that's for sure.
Oh my god.
It is.
Put a clothespin on that.
Then it'll be not.
It's just the pearls.
Those are for pinching.
That SOCP
I'm
visual
leaving now.
trainer looks aggressive as shit, just for the record.
That's one word for it. Aggressive. It's
Loud is the other word. It's 440C. It's $250. Now hold on a second. How do they heat treat this thing? 58 to 60 Rockwell. Man, you could just buy the trainer and sharpen that fucker up. Yeah.
And it would
Hey.
have a closer ratio than their station knife.
It would be Sith colored. Oh
It'd
man.
be a lightsaber.
How much? Okay, how much cheaper is it on Benchmade's website? I don't even know what their pricing is. I'm curious now.
What are we even talking about at this point?
This is a
So I'll
stupid
give you
rabbit
one.
hole to go.
I'll give you one to end the night with while he's doing that. The other stupid thing about Benchmade's website is they've gotten rid of their coming soon section.
They sure do.
So they did that probably strategically because again, people are hounding them on when models are supposed to be ready. So they're like, "Screw you! I won't tell you." Blah, blah, blah.
Countdown timer. How about you go count down? Fuck yourself.
But it has a pretty good search engine on this website.
Does
And
it?
if you type in the words coming soon, you can find all the models that are coming soon.
Really? Well, let's.
Oh, really?
And so the knives that are coming soon,
Are knives that are already available.
well, kind of, but yeah. Mini bug outs, new colors coming next week.
Yeah.
Ba-bam.
Tip.
Bazinga.
That's kind of cool. All right. All right. All right. That's neat.
And sneak peek. There's mini bug outs getting released this week. So interesting choices. I gotta say. I know there's already an orange, and now they've come out with an alternative orange they're calling red.
Right?
They're pulling a Demco.
And then Alpine Glow seems to be a common theme throughout, although it's not on the new bailout, right? They went tactical on the bailouts. But the Seafoam, they didn't do a full-size bug out in the Seafoam. They went with the Crater Blue
And I
and
do
the
like.
Desert 10 like a bailout, right?
I gotta say though, I do like the Critter Blue profile in person. Or profile, the color profile, I guess. Looks nice. And if these photos are accurate, I actually really like that seafoam color that they have.
I think Blade HQ came out with some delicas in that color. They called it toothpaste. So get your Colgate on.
Gross. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. I mean, not nowadays toothpaste. Like we're going like probably gave you cancer toothpaste back in the 80s.
This toothpaste has asbestos in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's glowing. Yeah, that's the radium.
It's the tritium insert.
It's the tritium. Do we even brush, bra? Dude.
Here for it.
Can you
You
even
give me
say
glow in
you're...
the dark toothpaste, I'll use it.
Oh, that's so...
I'll be your guinea pig.
Oh, that's terrible. And for the record, that SOCP trainer is $250. The Black G10 is $4. So if you want a functional SOCP and you don't mind it being red,
What's the thickness behind the edge?
oh, thick.
How much you got to bring that down?
I don't know. Let's
Scandy grind it.
They got a couple of photos here, but not really from the correct angle to see what's going on here.
The bayonet, it can be a little thick behind the edge. It's fine.
It's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, the one that we had on the shelf wasn't particularly thin behind the edge.
It's a dagger.
Yeah.
It be dagging.
I mean, it's also 440C. It can support a pretty thin edge angle, I think. It should be okay.
The tip on this thing would scare me. It's like a little spoon, little slicey spoon action.
Sharpen it like a Viking sword, just sharp but round all the way. Yeah. You don't like it.
It's for spooning.
It sure is.
When I agreed to spoon, this isn't what I had in mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not at all what I had in mind.
No.
well, too late for that, isn't it?
Now you got this thing in your mind.
All right. On that note, I think that calls us a wrap.
Thank
I think
God.
so. Oh, thanks for listening to the Benchmade Narrows slugfest.
We said nice things.
We did
We said-
actually. We said about half and half.
Yeah, there was mutual things that we said about Nana. Oh, wait, and the knife too. Speaking of the knife, thank you to Cutting Edge Cutlery Co. for lending us the knife to have the first impressions and review. Get them while they're hot. They're going fast, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is something we didn't talk about in the review, but as far as the store is concerned,
I briefly mentioned the fact that they be selling.
like, holy shit. Just, yeah.
Oh, we totally didn't put up half the pictures like what it looked like in hand and shit like that.
Oh, no.
It's too late for that.
We did
We're
it.
done talking about that 20 minutes ago.
We
Half
did it.
hour ago.
We did a ton of size comparisons, though. I feel like it's okay.
We did. It's good enough. It's good enough. We'll make do. Someone else thanks people.
Hey, thank you, Instagram, for continuing to follow us. That's weird, and I appreciate it, because if it wasn't the case, I'm pretty sure both of these guys would be yelling at me. And they only do that in private. They don't do it in public on here, so I appreciate that.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Anyways,
thank you also to everyone on Patreon who continues to subscribe to us. Fully appreciate the support. Everything you've given to us will be coming back to you guys as a thank you. Christmas 2023. Yeah, that's still a thing. Still a thing, and it's now an actual thing. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
The
We'll
joke that
think about it
became
at some point.
reality.
A memoir.
All the rest of the socials, like, subscribe, share, all the things, comment below, things like that. All the things.
Yeah, what do you think of the Narrows? Tell us.
Do you love it? You hate it? Do you hate it like the rest of the sheep?
Do you love it?
I like it more after this conversation. I got to be honest with you. I learned some things this evening while I was looking at this knife, and they just got to stop painting it blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have done it in brass, and I would have been like, all right, neat.
Dude, even
you're
brown.
gonna take brass from Nana now too? Jesus Christ, man!
She can't have it.
Look,
not good
Grandpappy's
for
not using his old straight razor anymore. You got to melt it down and make some brass hardware for these Benchmade narrows.
He's not using it anymore, Joe, because he's gone.
He's not gone. he's just stopped shaving, Paul. Okay,
Oh,
he just doesn't want to shave anymore.
For the record, the hair kept growing for a while afterwards. It's kind of creepy. Yeah. It's kind of creepy.
Just imagine how long this beard will be.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about already.
We're trying to get out of here.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Yeah. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. I think we're getting back again next week. There's nothing weird going on for a while, so I think, I
think we're good.
All the good times. So thank you once again for joining us. We will see you back here again next Sunday, 7:15 Mountain Standard Time. That'll be that. Have a great night. We'll see you all again next week. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I'm the Iron Joe.
I'm Exile.ca.
Thanks again, guys. See you next week with another problematic knife. Just kidding. I'm not sure what we're covering next week. We haven't talked about it.
I'm gonna wound you with my goodbye guns.